We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to Always Almost There, day after show live. We are here for the final recap of the Everything Must Go summer tour, talking about the tour closer last night in Westville, or at Westville in New Haven. Nice little hometown throwdown for the band. And we've got also New Haven's own Jess Metzger of the Fem Flock joining us today. Hi, Jess.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Welcome.
Thanks.
I'm
great.
Doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm happy tour's over. I'm tired. I'm covered in glitter. My voice is disappearing, but couldn't be happier.
I know exactly how you feel. I'm feeling especially gravelly today. Like it just feels like I'm trying to make my voice deeper, but no, it's 6 of the last 7 shows have completely run me ragged. I am exhausted, but it was a blast.
It really was. Last night was just so much fun. Coming off the energy of Saturday at MSG and being back at home. It was just such a blast, like the whole show, from Rick's wardrobe choice to, Big All I Need, got Big Modern. It was just pretty fantastic night all around.
The jam of the year of the year of the year. It's an amazing thing.
Jody of the year.
Jody of the year. The jam of the year thing is just so omnipresent, and I'm sure it drives people insane. And this is just going to be awful for like a good stretch. There will be lots of T-shirts. Ryan, speaking of the jam of the year, can you show off your T-shirt for everybody?
Yes, jam of the Jody of the year, sleeveless, which we all know. Yes, yeah, yes, I am sleeveless. Enjoy it because this is the only time that's ever going to happen.
It's amazing. I think you should just go full sleeveless all the time. It's a great look for you, really. But you should do some pull-ups.
I agree with
Rick did tell me that.
He did say you should do some pull-ups.
He did say I should do some pull-ups. Will I take the advice? Likely not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Let's talk about the show. Jess, why don't you take us through your pre-show vibe here, where you ended up yesterday?
Yeah. So I grew up about 10 minutes from Westville Music Bowl. So this was true hometown show for me. I had a bunch of friends staying here, all that I've met through this amazing community. We had a big pizza party because, New Haven pizza. Let us know what your favorite one is. I have opinions. Neil is aware of that.
I also have opinions.
But it was great. It was really special to be at home. I said it last year. I'll say it again. It's really weird when you go to a show and you see all your friends' dads tripping balls. That's what happens when you're back in your hometown. Vibes were high. It was a little sweaty, but I'm home. Can't be happier.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was sweaty yesterday for sure.
Schwitzy, some might say. It's a little schwitzy.
Yes.
A little
couldn't find relief. It actually made me miss the indoor show a lot when I was walking around. I was just like, man, indoor shows in this summer are kind of dope. You're never like dying. But I drank lots of water yesterday. I feel like I did the right thing. So I don't know. Should we talk about the music?
Yes. Let's talk about the music. Let's dive right in here. Yeti Pumped Up Kicks Yeti to open the show. This immediately sets the tone that this is going to be the party show, right? Like that this is kind of that indication. Still not the biggest fan of, how often they're playing Pumped Up Kicks. Just Yeti is a great party song on its own. You don't need to do it. We got a little bit of Goose, just a little bit in the segue here. But people love Pumped Up Kicks. Floor was going nuts.
Floor was definitely going nuts. It was Goonsey going in and coming out of Pumped Up Kicks. There's like a really kind of like awkward stop of the Goons, right? When they like start Pumped Up Kicks, Peter's just like full stop. Then he picks it up again on the outro. So it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Jess, you got thoughts on this opening?
I think Yeti's a fun opener. I can do without Pumped Up Kicks for eternity. But, last night was a super cover heavy show. I know we're going to talk about that. I thought we could have done without it. But, I'm moving. I'm having a fun time. I just want to be at a show to dance. And Yeti gets me there.
Did the Goose mask go on this early, or was that not until later?
The Goose mask was on for every single song at some point, but we only have about like a 30-second cap before everything starts melting.
Right.
Who are curious. We have Gloria Goose right here.
Gloria.
Amazing.
Baby
Does Miranda's
got
have a name?
that's a great
quack.
it's covered in glitter on the inside as well right now because
Shocking.
it hit many people's faces. But there was definitely a Gloria Goose moment at every song.
Love it. Speaking of songs, the next song has song in the title. Iguana song. Still great.
What a
First
segue.
set. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really good at this. I know. Iguana song, fantastic. Always crushes, and really amazing. I think it's really Cotter and Rick leading this at this point. That like kind of dynamic play, like really going quiet and then bringing it up and then going back. And that happened a few times last night. But I love Iguana.
Agreed. That was super fun. It's definitely one of my favorites coming out of the new album. There's some moments where like it starts to get a little like slow for me, maybe a little calm. And that's when I try and lock into Trevor. Because that's like what comes forward in those moments when I'm like starting to get a little lost in the music. There's definitely a couple times during Iguana song where I was like, it was me and Trevor. But my favorite part is all the woos that you get to hear. Is it Peter who's wooing?
That's Rick.
Well, it's Peter and Rick last night. It's usually just Rick.
Peter was doing it?
Peter was doing all kinds of things. Well, maybe I'm thinking of Big Modern. Peter was doing like the growl in Big Modern, which like Rick usually does, and I don't know. In any case, the Iguana song is so sick, and I love that it got kind of this spot at Westville, which tells me they really love the song, which is great because I really love the song, and I want them to play it every third show all through the rest of this year and next year.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be
cool.
great. And forevermore. Next up, speaking of songs that we thought they were going to play, Your Direction into Amongster. Really cool pairing here. And I think, again, this is, the song-oriented approach to last night. They don't do the Your Direction jam that we had been seeing earlier in the tour. Very happy to see Amongster come back this fast, though. I did a funny meme posted by, I think it was Goose in the Pool on Instagram today. It was like the one with like the drowning kid, and it was like Amongster, and then like Blood Buzz is like, drowning. It's similar vibe to those two songs. But I'm really loving Amongster right now.
I feel the opposite. I think get rid of it. It's sad. It brought us out of it. I was not feeling the vibe for that one. It's a throwaway for me. I think it's a cool song. I think it'd be cool on the re-listen, but in the middle of a fun show, especially like last show of tour, and they've done it recently, I thought it was bad placement.
Hot takes. We brought Jess on for hot takes. I love this.
I love it.
Like show up and just like new cover, hate it. So
like give me something new. Or there's a bunch of songs that like I've been craving to hear this tour that I just haven't.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. There does seem to be like a recycling of songs that have already been done. You were kind of hoping for maybe something different and bigger. I could vibe with that for sure.
Yeah, I saw Factory and the Kate Bush song 3 times this tour, which like feels wrong because I only went to 5 shows. So I don't know. I think they could have switched it up a little, personally.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
Josh
just real quick on Your Direction and Amongster. I don't know, man. Your Direction in the middle of the set, it doesn't hit the same. I like it actually at the beginning of the set. I think I'm firmly in that camp now. And then I do kind of agree with you, Jess, that Amongster was weirdly placed because it's just a strange spot for it. I mean, I guess it was
you
like
didn't need a cooldown.
There, yeah. Well, you didn't need a cooldown because there was no heavy jamming yet. The jamming actually comes after this.
Yeah.
Although that jam was even more of a cooldown. Shall we move on to All I Needs? Can I talk about that? Since
talk about the All I Need
on that vibe. Okay, so this is the jam of the night, in my opinion. I've listened to it 3 times now, and it sounds so good. The way that Rick comes in with the tremolo at the very beginning of the jam is
okay. Wait. Pause. For those of us who are new here, what is a tremolo?
It's
that effect where it goes like the
yeah. So that
one more time. What does it do?
Yeah. Oh, thanks. You just trolled us. That's awesome. So in any case, that starts it off and makes it like super psychedelic and weird and mysterious, and I don't know, everything about it was incredible. And then they kind of shift to this more positive, uplifting space for like the rest of the jam. And it was a 2-hour drive home. I listened to it twice on the drive because it was like the best music to be driving to. It was so absolutely fantastic. And yeah, really killer jam. This one's going on the playlist. It's not the Jody of the year, but it's pretty good.
I love how patient they are when they get to that quiet space. We've been talking about like those post-peak jams they've been doing lately, and this feels like that without being a post-peak jam. And just the way that they are just so calm and like really letting it, breathe, if you will.
So that's the part
yeah.
that I was talking about in Iguana, where it's that same like build but really slow, where I start to get a little lost. That like again, where I lock into Trevor because it's what comes forward for me in the music. That it felt like with All I Need, there was a lot of that, but that's also like what the happiness, the bliss bubble that peaks with it. It's just one of those moments where like I have to grab my monkey noodle to like channel my energy somewhere.
It's amazing.
You might have gotten one of these from me on the floor the last 2 nights. We love them. Good place to put your energy.
Those things kind of freak me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Interesting stat on the All I Need. There has not been a finished All I Need since last fall. It has been a lot in a row of unfinished. And I think that's just the spaces they're going to. It felt as though the peak last night could have hit into the ending. And I was kind of looking down, you and I, Neil, we were above friend of the pod, Jeff Hill, Captain Incredible. It was his birthday yesterday. And he's the biggest proponent of the All I Need second jam. Yeah. And so I was like really hoping, they were kind of like they were peaking, and I was like they could do it here. Was really hope. Yeah, there we go. Emily in the chat, right as I say it. Yes, they should have done the second jam last night. Would have been pretty spectacular. Instead, we get a really sick segue into Salt.
Yes.
Which is a really amazing segue. Sometimes like this, maybe they would just fade out and go into Salt, but they take their time kind of transforming the end of the All I Need jam, especially on Cotter's part. The space he was in at the end of All I Need was not even close to how Salt goes. And just, they eventually wound their way around to the intro to Salt, but sick.
Yeah. Salt, it is incredible in this spot. It always has that, really excellent energy that kind of gets you going into set break. The peak in this thing was absolutely bananas. It's like the same every time, but like every time I'm there for it, it just seems 10 times bigger. I don't know what it is about it, but it's a killer song. Mm-hmm. And love this after like all of those chill vibes that you just kind of experienced from Your Direction on. Then they're like, all right, we got to blow the doors off somehow. This is the one song they've got to do that. I don't think there's another song that could replace it on this set list, and otherwise making this set like really tight. But,
right. Yeah. I thought that was perfect placement. I could feel it coming. Like there's a suspense with Salt, like an energy push that it was perfectly placed. And I actually ended up on the floor during that moment, which was another wild time just to like have the energy of the crowd bumping. The Daddy Chill sample, is that Cotter?
Yes,
it is Cotter.
A man after my heart. I think that man is my soulmate. Daddy Chill, yes, Salt, perfect timing. But yeah, my kind of song, just moving full speed ahead, 100%. Great.
Cotter's got some new stuff back there. I think it was last night. Maybe it was at MSG. He has the sickness. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Down with the Sickness. Like kind of, it was like a radio hit like 20 something years ago. But it goes like, wah! And he hit that, I think, at the beginning of the show. And so now he's got that to go with the Daddy Chill. He has an assortment of things that he does.
Is he the
Ryan? What?
Trevor Bass?
We need see if he had that. That would be good. But Rick is
too good.
He had that at Racket. I don't know if he had that again.
Oh, I haven't heard that at all. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, the Bing Bong, M said.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't
Bing
like
Bong.
the Daddy Chill. He's not a fan.
I don't.
Of the Racket show?
What?
No, weren't you? Wasn't it you who was saying like, man, they're really overusing that sample? I thought it was you who was saying that.
No, that wasn't me. I'm entertained by it still.
I still am also. I mean, he's just having fun out there. Give him more.
Yeah.
Although the air
best one
horn
still...
is like, that's too much.
He uses that sparingly.
Yeah.
Well, he uses it sparingly, and then when he does use it, he hits it like 8 times in a row.
Yes.
But, a man after my heart.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Second set, big modern or bust. We knew it was happening.
Right.
It had to happen. This one's cool because you get that typical big modern amazing peak jam, and then they go into the post peak zone, which is an amazing few minutes at the end here. Rick doing some really cool rapid fire stuff around this groove that's otherwise kind of more laid back. So it's a cool contrast there. And then they go into Madhavan and you get really excited, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But big modern open set 2. Yes. Floor was going nuts. Floor was going nuts for the face part.
I was looking over. You guys were just one section over from me on the same level, and I could see you having fun. I knew that was for Ryan.
I was very excited.
Yeah. There was a sing along happening. I took maybe some video of Ryan singing. I think that definitely happened. This song just hits so well every single time, and just that the face section is great. There's video of us actually. I think it was during that of us dancing to. Was it? Sim, who posted a video of the two of us dancing, which is actually kind of terrifying. Oh, that was an iguana. Okay. Yeah. I didn't listen to the audio on that. But there's a lot of video from friends that exists of me at various places throughout the last 3 days, which is like terrifying that it's getting documented.
Every time I put this on, all the cameras come out and I'm like, guys, it's fine.
Well, you can't miss that thing. I tell you what, I was hundreds of feet away from you at one point, and I could find you every time I wanted to because I was like, oh, there it is.
There's the Goose.
When you're like 5 feet tall and people need to find you, I figured out
my Goose mask.
Yeah. Goose mask.
Put on the Goose mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil or Jess, any more thoughts on the big modern?
I had banged with my girlies. It was great. What a time.
Yes. Yeah. Unfinished, by the way.
And unfinished, a night of unfinished
songs. Yeah. It's a shame.
So, and then they do Madhavan, and then they do Whip It, and then they do Susie Q, which are certainly choices for mid-set too. Madhavan started, and I think, Neil, you and I were both like, let's fucking go. Like, this is going to be big. And then they bail on the jam immediately for 2 covers, and they don't even bring Madhavan back late. I said, Neil, I said to you after the show, I was like, they played Madhavan just for the people who had it in Fantasy Goose. And that was the only reason why they played it last night. That's the only purpose I can think of for playing the song part of Madhavan, not playing any jam, and then, playing 2 covers. Why? Susie Q, mid-set 2. I don't love you. I didn't rhyme that on purpose, but then I did.
That's a bad take.
This is terrible.
I agree with the Madhavan was too short. That was weird move by the band. Into Whip It, I actually had made it up into the 400s because since it was hometown show.
I went everywhere.
I was everywhere, but I had a lot of friends who it was their first show. They brought their parents. They're all like, what have you been doing the last 4 years? And we're curious. And I was like, well, you should come. So I made it up there. And being up there with people who were new during a cover was kind of cool because they actually knew what they were listening to. So I appreciated that, but made it back down for Susie Q, which I was hyped about. I thought that one was so fun. No complaints there.
I thought it was Green River.
Yeah, new.
Which is,
again, but as we said on the pod, as we said the last time they played Susie Q. If they start playing a CCR song, you know what it is, like you might not because they all sound exactly
the same.
Until they start singing, it's all just a chugle.
When they did Susie Q at Fiddler's, someone around me on the floor was screamed Green River, and then it wasn't. But it had just played it twice the week before. It's like that would have been weird. But no, Susie Q, I'm a fan. Let's do it again.
I want to talk about Green River. Can I have a minute?
Well, I was going to say Green River would have been better here because it's a jam vehicle now, but
see, that would have been sick. But listen, this was the 6th show that they've played at Westville Music Bowl. None of this should be a surprise to us. There have been no like big shows. They're all party shows because it's a party when you're there. And I definitely
One
got
of the
that
party
vibe.
shows just happened to have the Westville Rockdale.
Well, there was that kind of thrown in there, sure. But I mean, I think that one was just kind of like catching lightning in a bottle. But in any case, it was amazing to be there. Like Jess, I'm from Connecticut. So I got to see a bunch of high school friends. They brought their kids. It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic doing that. And so like what Jess was saying, you need to kind of have this to spark up that crowd because a lot of people going to the show are like area folks just getting like pulled in, because Goose is from Connecticut more than anything. And the Green River thing, right? Forgot about that. So that's my chase. I don't know if you knew this, Jess, but I talk about this all the time. I've been chasing Green River. Is my
I don't listen when you speak normally.
Yeah, that's fair. So it is my most common not seen. They've played it, I forget how many times, but I have not seen any of these versions. Once I see it, I never want to hear it again. But I really want to hear Green River. So when they start Susie Q, I'm like, yes. And I turn to our buddy Dylan, and I was like, oh, Green River. And he's like, nah, it's not. So, we got what we got. So yeah, that's a weird thing to do to Madhavan, but they love doing this. They did, short versions of Wisteria earlier this year, kind of in a similar way, where you're just like, why burn the song if you're just gonna go right into something else? So, but maybe it's a little bit of a troll too with the Jam of the Year shirt night. Then they're like, oh, we're gonna play our big jam vehicle, and we're not gonna jam it at all. So I do love that.
It was just them being mean to Ryan.
Yeah, there you go. Dylan can confirm that I was excited.
Yeah. Well, so now set picks right back up with SOS. I love what they're doing with this song now. Because like the jams aren't going deep, which they might someday, but like that you just resume the party vibe, but it's not covers anymore. Now you're just like celebrating, just extending the jam, and yeah, this felt really, really great last night.
Yeah, completely agree. I think SOS is the one song. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's the one song I could hear on repeat from them forever. Dawn is a song, but yes. But like the whole thing together, I could not have been happier. It was a great time. It was great placement. I was so excited. Everyone around me was so excited when it came on, and it's just 20 minutes of dance party.
Yeah. I mean, SOS is the best. I love that song. They can play it anywhere in any set. It kind of does the same thing every time, which you would think that would make me not love it. But it's so good.
It's such a good song.
Yeah, you just like sit there and like get in that vibe, the Dawn vibe, and just kind of look around and take in the Westville Music Bowl, and everybody's like, having the time of their lives. Yeah, dude, so good.
So good.
Yep. So good. And then Neil almost lost the tour championship of Fantasy Goose with what came next. It was actually really funny. Basically, if they played fast, slow, Neil won. But if they played slow, ready, then Evdude won. And so they started playing slow, ready. And Neil was like, it's over. Like, that's it. Then they did the first verse of slow, ready, and then went into fast, slow. And then Neil won. And then we goonsed.
I think it's a conflict of interest if Neil's winning Fantasy Goose. I think we should ban both of you from Fantasy Goose.
Why me?
He's terrible at it anyway.
Why not? Why not? You're too involved. You know too much.
I have contemplated actually deleting my score from this last show, so like I don't take the tour championship because I'm not gonna post on social media and pat myself on the back. I'm no Jive Goose,
Yes, you are.
I don't need that attention
because you
could be a giant goose. We can make you a giant goose.
Yeah. See, well, that's what needs to happen. There needs to be like a trophy. We need to.
We can talk
gilded goose of some kind. Gilded goose.
Gilded goose.
Yeah, right. You can have a gilded strange man and a gilded goose.
Yeah.
We could bedazzle something.
Nobody wins gilded strange men except for one person, so they're all his.
Well, let's give Evdude a Fantasy Goose shout out here while we're here, because while he did lose the tour, he finished 7 points behind you, Neil, which was
he had more songs.
30 points ahead of B, who is in third place.
Mm-hmm. He and I both had a great run.
I finished in 8th, and I was 80 points, 60 points behind you.
Mm-hmm. You're terrible at this game.
So
I've never participated in next tour. I'm crushing both of you.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Hey, you can always sign up.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Hey, so Fast Slow, the Goons.
The Goons. Yeah. Okay, so I made my way back down to the rail for this, and I was dead center in front of Rick with my Goose mask. That had to come off because it was too sweaty. But Fast Slow for me, once we were in the peak of the jam, I broke out into tears, like fully hysterical on the rail. It was just, it's been a crazy tour. It's been a lot. I feel like the band has just been on one this tour, and that peak at that show last set, I could not hold it in. I just let it out. I don't know. That moment was so special for me. I'm just surrounded by people I love, people I've met on this tour, the community that is so special. We'll talk about the Fem Flock in a minute, but it was a moment that I will never forget. That Fast Slow Goonsey peak.
Yeah. I mean, well, it really transports you somewhere, right? And then like you, the last show of tour, especially if you're doing a bunch of shows leading up to it, is always weirdly emotional because there's like all these people around, and like, it's just so much fun being with your friends, like especially like a few nights in a row and traveling from city to city. And like, I always get weirdly emotional at that last show. Last year there was like a moment, like me and Happy had a moment where it was like kind of like, oh man, this sucks. Like we all have to go home and do our jobs now. And like,
but at the same time, we are so lucky to be here. And like, I did 5 shows this run, which is not that much compared to the 2 of you, or at least Ryan, but it was a lot. It was my most for a run ever. And the people I've met and the community that's come out for this, and just the band's energy, the crew's energy, I was so emotional. And usually I'm not that emotional at shows. I'm just there to dance and have fun. But this was a completely sober show for me too, with all the people I knew around. We had to be on leash a little bit. And that it kind of just like overwhelmed everything.
Yeah, agree 100%.
Good point.
Tour starts again soon.
By Ev, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
how did they not play How It Ends? Actually,
they didn't play How It Ends. I think at the encore break, I'm sure they had the discussion. I've not seen the written set from last night, but I would guess they were deciding between You Spin Me Round and How It Ends. Kind of like, do we want to do the emotional send off, or do we want to keep the party going? And they kept the party going.
How do I make a comment pop up? Because yes, in Just We Trust.
Oh, okay. We'll do it for you. There you go.
Amazing. But yeah, so I mean, How It Ends would have been cool, and Neil would have lost the tour if they had played How It Ends, I think.
But, I would have. Yes, if they played it, I would have lost. He would have won by 1
had
point.
It for 8.
Yeah,
but You Spin Me Around was a great encore. It like
encore now.
Like okay,
disagree. Sorry.
Really?
Continue.
Well, I was gonna say I love this song. I love Goose playing it. And I think it's a great encore. They encored with it in Wilmington, and it's just people love it. Get down a little bit, a little more Goose. I will say last night it's the 5th cover of the show, so it's like a little bit, where you have original songs you can play if you're going past curfew again, and but it was fun.
It was so fun. It definitely got me dancing, and I mean that's what I want in a song. But I think there were songs that were missed. I really wanted a Hot Tea encore. I thought that would have been perfect placement.
Oh, yeah.
That was what I was looking for. I really didn't think we needed another cover. They have so many good things that have been shelved. So it was fine. It was fun. It was a great way to end out the dance party. But I really wanted that Hot Tea.
I'm shocked that Hot Tea has been played since Cleveland. Actually, that's
it's been a really long time. I had that on my fantasy Goose.
That's a while for Tea.
Yeah. I didn't get a single one this tour. I'm very upset about it.
Yeah, Hot Tea felt like really appropriate there. Or How It Ends would feel pretty appropriate, or maybe that's just too on the nose.
I was already crying. I didn't need that.
I would have been crying during that one because that song is just, oh man, it gets me like.
No How It Ends.
Right
no
here.
726. I wanted that Hot Tea or something of that caliber.
All good choices. Well, you heard it here, folks. You know, we're going to have to write the set list now going forward for the final show of the year. I think that's important. We got to get that, relay that to the band.
I think we've been saying that. I think we've been saying that for several years now.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of the Everything Must Go summer tour. This is our last day after show for maybe 6 weeks. I don't know if we're going to end up doing one after Newport. I would say Park City will be our next day after show, more than likely, which is sad. You know, we're going to have many hours of tour recap recorded episode for you all to enjoy eventually. But eventually, you know, we got to get our playlists in order and take stock of what's going on.
25 shows.
And you will be able to listen to those in as many parts as you wish, of course. But yeah, it's crazy that, you know, now we basically have in the next 2 months, there are 2 shows.
Yeah. We all need a break. No, I'm so glad. I need a break. The band needs a break. Let's go sleep for 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, Cotter's not. Cotter is 3 Nico Suave and the Mothership gigs this week.
You know, Cotter doesn't sleep. And if you'd like to hear about that, you can hear our Nico Suave episode on Flock Talk. Because Nico gets into a bunch of Cotter and Goose lore. She went to high school with the band. And she tells you that Cotter was on the Peloton doing his taxes. He's got to play. He's got to be moving. So take a listen to that.
There we go.
Well, tell us more about the Fem Flock since you brought it up.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you.
Now that you brought it up.
Now that I brought it up. Hi, everyone. You may have heard of something called the Fem Flock. We are a jam band community collective and podcast aimed at amplifying women's voices and underrepresented voices in a historically homogenous scene. There's a lot of straight white men talking about the music. These 2 dudes. And not that many girlies covered in glitter talking about the community. And this community changed my life, as I know it's changed many of yours. And so some of my friends and I got together and started this podcast and community collective, and it's been growing. We've had some really cool episodes come out this year, one with Karina Reichman, one with Nico Suave. We did one with Andy Frasco. We have some cool stuff on the docket to come out for the rest of the year. It's really special. This, as I've said this entire time, the band is awesome. The music is awesome. It's why we're here, but it's the community that keeps me coming back. And I met these 2 fools on the internet 4 years ago, and now you guys are my family. And it's been really great. And you should all come check out the Fem Flock. We are not just for women. We need allies. It's really important that we need allies. Please wear glitter. The ways you can support us are wearing glitter, dancing at a show, being kind to your neighbor and giving space to people. Don't stare at me like a creep or any other woman at the show. We're just there to have fun, and you need to help us create that same safe space. The episode of Megan Iguana was so special. Please listen to that. She said it was her first time she's been in a room talking about jam bands with only women, which is crazy because she went on Fish tour, Euro tour in the 90s. So
she did.
She's been doing this a long time. And Ryan's mom came on. Big deal. We've done a lot. We've grown. Please follow us on Instagram, the Fem Flock. Follow our podcast, Flock Talk with the Fem Flock. Help us get to 1,000 followers on Instagram. We're so close. Let's do that today. All of you, take out your phones. Find me on Instagram. The Fem Flock one, not my personal.
There we go. That one's I don't know if you want to follow Jess's personal.
You should not follow my personal. We're a little but this community is so special. All of you are so special. It's really changed my life, and I love you all. So thanks for being a part of it.
There we go.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for coming on today.
And if you see us at a show, you can come get a monkey noodle from me or a lollipop. I think I handed out about 200 lollipops over the last 2 nights. We usually have Schneider's. I don't have one with me, but they're little eyeballs. We have an account for that too called Schneider Insider. But really, we just wanted shenanigans. That's it. We're just here to be a little weird and let go and dance.
There we go.
Yeah, that's my show.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of
the
Everything. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. That brings us to the end of the Everything Must Go summer tour. It's been an absolutely incredible month with everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into all of our day after shows. It's been a pleasure. Neil and I, yes, we are going to enjoy a little bit of time off from 5 podcasts a week. But it's been so much fun. This tour has, I think, been the most fun that I've had talking about and writing about a Goose tour so far. And it seems, that's happening on the band side of things too. So, it may be 2 more months before we will see the Goose live again, but there's plenty for you to listen to. But we just seriously, again, our biggest and most sincere thanks to everybody who has tuned in live, listened after the fact, followed along with all of our nonsense. We love you all very much. And we will see you very, very soon for some recorded tour recap episodes. If you're keeping track of your Jam of the Year rankings, tour is over. This is kind of the midpoint of the year. We'd love to see where you're at. We are going to share ours eventually. Neil may or may not ever share his. Yeah, it may or may not happen. But
my Jam of the Year is any song I get to spend with you.
Aww.
You're the best, Jess.
I am the best. Thank you.
You are the best.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your, I guess it's a holiday week. Whether you're celebrating Canada Day tomorrow or the 4th of July on Friday.
Celebrate Canada Day.
Yeah.
The lamest name of a day ever. Like, what are we going to call the day? Let's just call it Canada Day.
Canada Day. All right. Everybody, enjoy your summer. We will see you very soon. Thank you all.
Last day of Pride. Everybody, happy fucking Pride.
There you go.
There we go. Sorry, you can.
There we go. All right. Everybody, thank you so much. This is like the longest ending that we've done. Love you, and we'll see you very soon. Peace.
Love you.